What do you think of when I say the words estate planning? A lot of people think that it's only for the wealthy, or that it's funeral arrangements, making sure you have all that stuff taken care of. Or some people say, you know what, I don't care about leaving anything to my kids. It's really not a concern for me. Well, the fact of the matter is everybody needs estate planning at some level. Whether it's a simple will or establishing a trust, everybody needs some sort of estate planning. Because estate planning is more of a financial tool that we use to make sure that your family gets more money than the government does. Now let's look at a couple tools or some of the kind of things involved with estate planning. The first one we mentioned was a trust. Alright, what is a trust? And does everybody need a trust? Well, a trust, there's several kinds. And we use different ones at different times depending on a person's situation. Everyone doesn't need a trust. A lot of people out there pushing that well, you can avoid probate, you can do this, you can do that, and everybody should have a trust. Not necessarily. A lot of times a simple will do the job. Now, trust can be either irrevocable or revocable. Irrevocable means when you set it up, it's very, very difficult, almost impossible to change it. But it gives you some benefits too. Revocable means, well, you can change it whenever you want, and it's not as airtight as the irrevocable kind. Now, again, using it as a financial tool is where a trust can really come in and help anybody. But again, a simple will sometimes might be sufficient. Now, wills, on the other hand, are simply instructions to the probate court. Now, everybody has a will, whether you've drawn it up or not, because the state has one for you. If you die without preparing a will yourself, it's called dying intestate, which means the state's going to decide what happens to your money, the state's going to decide what happens to your assets, the state's going to decide what happens to your kids if they're minors, and you have no say in it. But if you draw up a simple will, you can give instructions to the probate court on what to do. So that's really what's involved with estate planning. Now I want to show you a technique, and the real reason I came today is to show you that we can actually work with you and do some estate planning for you that will help your family. If you look at the handout we gave you, you'll see a big table with a lot of numbers in there. Now let's go through this and explain what this is. What it is we have a couple here, age 65. They have $50,000 that they want to pass on to their kids, and they want to find the best way to do it. So what we suggest to them is, let's look at a life insurance policy. Sounds a little strange, but bear with me. Now the key is both of these people are healthy. Now even if they weren't, there's still something we could do, just at a little bit lower level. But we're going to assume that both these people are healthy and that their kids have a tax bracket of 25%. Now that comes into play in a second. So what we've done is we take their $50,000 and we secured it in an annuity paying a lifetime income stream of $3,000 a year. We take that $3,000 a year and we purchase a life policy. For that $3,000, we can purchase $199,581 of death benefit. Now, again, that's a survivorship policy, which means both the husband and wife are on it. That's why the premiums are so low, and why we can buy so much coverage is because the insurance company now has two lives that they have to lower the risk, because they don't pay out until both have passed away. So again, being able to buy this $199,000 is key, because the biggest thing it's tax-free to the kids. That's why we're concerned with what the children's tax bracket is. If you look at that table, it shows you how right away in year 6 or at age 66, year 1, the estate plan has $199,581 ready to go to the kids. Now, if we just assume we put an investment in place instead of it with that $50,000 and we grew it at 5%, you'll notice that first year it's really interesting. There's less than $50,000 there. There's only $39,375. Well, what this table assumes is both husband and wife have passed away and the money's being transferred to the kids. Well, the kids in a 25% tax bracket are going to receive that money and pay income tax on it. Now you say, well, my kids don't pay no 25%. If they get an additional $50,000, they might, because that's going to be included in their income that year. So their tax bracket that year is going to go up. So what we're comparing here in these two columns is having that death benefit versus that's tax-free versus growing the asset at a 5% growth rate for the rest of their lives, wherever that will be. Now if you notice the return to equal, that column that has the percentage numbers in it, what that's saying is this: at age 66, they're going to have to do in their investment 432.22% in 1 year to equal the estate plan. If they live to 67, now instead of getting 5% of their investment, they're going to have to do 130.7% on their investment to equal the estate plan. I mean, this thing is going to kick out so much money to these people, especially in the beginning. It's incredible. But look down to age 90. Now we're getting down to the actual life expectancy of people. Your investment's still going to have to do 6.92 just to keep up with the estate plan. Now, where this is relevant is if this family really wanted to just pass this money on to their kids. They didn't need the income, okay? And they didn't need this money. And they wanted to go their kids the best way. This is the best way. Because the key is, if they were to pass away early, like at age 70, if they'd have just invested that asset, they still wouldn't have made any money for their kids. Because they're still below $50,000. The estate plan side, the kids get $199,581 tax-free. Now, where this is an estate planning tool is this: we're going to involve a trust. We're going to place that life policy inside an irrevocable trust. Why would we do that? Well, the reason we do that is we remove it from their estate, so it no longer accounts for any estate taxes. And if a person has to go through a Medicaid spend down because they need to go into a nursing home for long-term care, it also removes it from that Medicaid rule. So if you are going through that spend down, you have a list of assets and exempted assets. Because it's in an irrevocable trust, remember I said there are special rules irrevocables get? That's one of them. It goes in the exempted asset column. So this is just one strategy of a simple estate planning technique that makes a huge difference for a family. You'll be able to set up your money to pass on to your kids at a huge amount of money on top of what you could just grow your money to be. So please take a look at this, and we can run this exact same example for you personally. If you flip your page over, you'll see there's a place to put your name and your contact information. Fill that out, and we can get together, and we promise that all we're going to do is run this illustration for you. We work with unions all over the country, and again, we're not pushy. We value our relationship with you guys, and what we want to do is show you how we can make you money, how we can make your family money, and save you guys a lot of money. So what we're asking is just look at our analysis, and if it looks good enough to you, which we found that it has all across the country, then you can decide whether you want to work with us or not. So thank you for listening today. I hope that you've learned a lot about estate planning, a little bit more than you did before, and I know it's only been a short time here, but fill out that form. We'll be around to collect it, and we hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.